Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Welcome in, Ermanni Edwards with Maz, but Ryan Ermanni won't be with us today, but you know who will be, my man Anson. Michigan State Spartan legend himself, the number one heckler in the NBA, as told him by Chauncey Billups and various other coaches around the league. Anson, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. We got some legends assembled today.
Speaking of legends, Brady Quinn will be joining the show. Friend of mine, former teammate. Brady, Big Noon Kickoff Fox, does a hell of a job. Also does games during the year. Want to pick his brain. Want to know, did the quarterbacks, the way it played out in the draft, was it slated the right way? Were the moves made the right way? Jaden Daniels goes to the Washington Commanders, Caleb Williams, etc. JJ, we'll get into that. And just also, too, Maz, just the landscape of the NCAA. What is the NCAA football going to look like this year? Maybe he can explain it to us. 100% he can, so he'll be joining us in about 15 minutes or so, but I just mentioned his name. Tom Maswell, how you doing this beautiful Friday?
I'm good, Brady, Anson. Good to see everybody. Beautiful day outside, another one. I mean, can we just bottle this weather up and just keep it?
Yes, please.
It's perfection.
This is it. This is perfection at its best. It's about 82, little breeze outside. That's it.
I'm happy for the Grand Prix people downtown.
I can't wait to be. I didn't tell you this yesterday. It slipped my mind in the midst of talking about Michael Basley and talking about Jack Fox. So the way that they're going to do the Grand Prix on Sunday, Maz, little precursor for you, is Jack Fox is going to do 3 punts. It's 3 different punts, and one is it's kind of like the coffin corner punt. If he makes it, then they donate proceeds. Then another punt, I can't remember, it's another situation. And then the third punt, he's punting the ball to me.
Whoa!
So you gotta earn your sweet passes in life.
This is tomorrow?
So this is Sunday. This is for the finale.
For the big one.
So I'll be out there. So I gotta get in the backyard, man. Make sure I know how to.
You got pit passes at all?
Get my 100%.
Oh.
You got a leg too, though?
I started punting my senior year at Michigan.
I remember hearing something about that.
Bishop Gallagher, man.
You can do it all, man.
Record.
What was the
most
longest
positions
punt?
started? 68.
You know, I did just read that you had the most positions started. That's fantastic.
In Michigan history.
Who has the longest punt in NFL history?
It's a quarterback.
No.
It's Randall Cunningham.
No.
It's
Close.
It's like 99 yards.
No, it was the Jets. Yeah, it was the Jets. Steve O'Neill. 99 yards.
I remember
99 yards.
I think I remember that green and silver, green and white.
Yep.
Yeah.
Way back
99 yards. Speaking of high school, speaking of coaches, because I thinking back to coach, thinking back to high school, think about George Sahady, who was my coach, kind of taught me the ins and outs about football, talked about what it meant to be a team guy, what it meant to hit. Before then, I was just put me out at wide receiver and throw the passes out there. Like, I don't want any contact in that middle pause. But today a legend died, Tom Maswell. Dan Fife, coach of Clarkson. 38 years he coached Clarkson High School. You see him in the picture right here. And you recognize that Fife name. Dugan Fife played with the Fab Five at University of Michigan. Yep. And Dane Fife, who also went to Clarkson with his father, he went to Indiana, and now he coaches at Michigan State. I want to say he coached at Michigan State with Izzo. Just an amazing man, amazing coaching legacy. You talk to a bunch of people that have played for him or that were even in the school at the same time. Just a legend in this industry, the things that he instilled in kids and kind of got kids from point A to point B. One of those old school coaches, though, Maz. Oh, yeah. Like, he's a hard, as they call it. And so, but I put this in the chat. Rich, I was just thinking about name a coach that has inspired you along the way, because coaches, they really dial you in, and that's why I love sport. That's why you want your family to play sports. You want your kids to play sport, because it just teaches you life values. It teaches you how to be a part of a team. It teaches you about how to work for your goals and how to deal with defeat, how to deal with winning. And I think he epitomized that. So rest in peace to Dan Fife. I saw that and just instantly started.
And the whole family, yep.
Yeah, man, and the whole family, man.
Bless them all.
100%.
That's too early, man. He's in his 70s.
He had a lot more to give, and he gave a ton. He gave a lot.
It takes 90 seconds just to list off his accomplishments.
100%.
Remarkable man.
And I tried to shortchange him. My apologies, man. I think we've talked about this before. Like, name a coach along the way and like what coaches mean to you. Because I mean, just him dying, it resonates. It takes you back to along the way the journey. And I had a lot of really good coaches, and Dan, much like Dan Fife.
Would it be like Lloyd to you?
100%.
Yeah, Lloyd would be probably your number one, right?
Like, Lloyd's my number one.
Yeah,
I will go. Lloyd's my number one. I will go. Coach Sahady's my number two. Without Coach Sahady, they were actually friends. Without Sahady, I don't get
I'm
there.
friends with Paul Sahady.
There you go.
Yep.
Paul Sahady used to be a Detroit police officer.
He is, still is, down at the New Center.
Oh, he's in the New Center now.
Yeah.
Gotta go check Paul out, man. He was the.
He loves you.
I love Paul too, man.
Yep.
He still got the strong chin.
He does.
He's got the strong chin.
He's a degenerate like me. He loves the horses.
See, I was young. Now I'm older. We can have a different conversation than I did when I was 16, 17 years old. But then I think also my little league coach, Coach Bobo, Reginald Hinton.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Reginald Hinton, Westside Cubs. You know, I was a part of that organization. And he just kind of got me. Each coach got me to the next level and instilled that into me, man. So shout out to these coaches, man. These Detroit metropolitan area coaches.
My coach didn't play ball like you.
Okay.
Except street ball. But I'll say my coach in broadcasting. And I'll go to the great Chuck Swirsky.
There you go.
WJR sports director, hired me, gave me my first crack at this business. Now he's the voice of the Chicago Bulls. Before that, he was with the Raptors. A great man. He's in Chicago now. He's loving it. He loved Detroit when he was here. He loved Michigan, lived in Saline, and he bled maize and blue. So Swersk, I still stay in touch with him. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, definitely thanks to everything to these coaches. Do you have a guy? You got a coach? You got anybody?
I never really
don't want to leave.
impactful.
Don't want to leave you out.
No, I appreciate it. I didn't have impactful coaches. I had quite a few bad.
Then we're
coaches,
skipping
to
you.
be
All
honest.
right, back
But
into the show.
I got to throw it back to Tim Schaefer
messing
though,
with you.
my junior year coach, and I was an all-conference track runner, and I definitely let him down. Getting in trouble to start my senior year and not being able to run. So I let him down, and I think about him all the time.
Yeah.
But he was fantastic. He was really the first guy that connected and showed me that there was a path beyond just running in high school, which I unfortunately messed up. But he sticks with me to this day. I wish I had a basketball coach I could put up there, but I didn't.
I can name a great coach in every sport, like my favorite.
Okay, go ahead.
In every sport. So let's start in football.
Okay.
Okay. You know I love Bill Parcells, but there's no Bill Parcells without a Vince Lombardi. Vincent T. Lombardi, to me, no, I didn't play for him, but he was a Jersey guy, St. Cecilia, which was in my backyard.
Yeah.
Wound up the Green Bay
Wow, I didn't
Packers
know
head
that.
coach. The championship trophy is named after him, so I dropped the mic on Vince Lombardi. Basketball,
This is true.
I know there's Red Auerbach, if you're a Celtic guy.
Oh, man.
I'm a Red Holtzman guy.
Okay.
Red Holtzman got the Knicks 2 championships, lost 2 of them, won 2 of them. Loved him. Hockey, there's nobody like Scotty Bowman. I was honored to know the guy, still know him. Fabulous guy. Quirky as they come. He's like Rain Man, but he was brilliant, and what a phenomenal coach he was. And baseball, you got to put Sparky Anderson as one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And you love Sparky. I know that. I'm going to throw that to you, man.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, he smacked the hell out of me on the back of my neck one day down in Aruba after I made a great joke, and I was beaming for 20 minutes. Man, Sparky just smacked the hell out of me.
He was the real deal.
But I'm sorry, I'd be remiss for this conversation to end without dropping Daddy Rich's name. Shout out
Daddy
Chuck
Rich.
Daly, the late
There
and
it is.
great Hall of Famer, Bad Boys coach. Loved him.
Yeah, 100%.
How about you, Bray? You got one for each?
Yeah,
What's
100%.
like your favorite for each? What do you think?
Daddy Rich is number one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
sir.
Technically, has a pause on the nickname, but Chuck Daly was a man. Chuck Daly was clean with the suits. Chuck Daly knew how to run he knew how to run this team. He knew how to change
Hell
the
yeah.
league. The things he did was they were very trending. They were very before their time. And
And a sharp dressed man.
Hey, him and
and
Pat
then
Riley.
some.
Yep.
Him and Pat Riley's football coach.
Just your favorite, you think? You don't have to play for him, but just your favorite. I know
Okay.
Rex is up there.
I love Rex,
Yeah.
but
So you
Somebody
can't
say
put him
Wayne
up there
Font's
as a
name,
Hall of Famer.
please.
Andy Reid.
Okay.
Ooh, I like
I like
that
Andy
one.
Reid.
Okay.
I always liked him with the Eagles. I mean,
He's
he
just a
couldn't
cool
get it
dude.
done, but he was just fun.
Yeah.
He always seemed like a coach that I wanted to play for, and wherever he's been successful. And then you look at what he's done with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I think I can stop explaining.
Amen.
NHL, come on, man. I'm this is hockey town,
Scotty
baby.
B.
This is hockey
Scotty.
town. Scotty Bowman, and then baseball.
There's a lot of great managers
but
out
you know where I'm from in terms of my favorite team,
there. Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox.
Okay.
How about Joe Torre?
He was
Bobby
fun.
Cox,
God bless
boss.
Joe Torre.
Yeah. fun.
Bobby Cox.
Billy Martin.
He just should have had more championships. There's no reason that those A's teams should
No.
not have won more World
Oh, my
Series.
God.
So I feel like he let us down, but I grew up there, so I had to go with
Good
it.
job, man. Good job.
Speaking of let down, there was a Game 5
Woo.
last night.
There was?
That would be a
It
proper
was over in
letdown.
2 minutes.
Proper letdown.
The Dallas Mavericks vanquished the Minnesota Timberwolves and Luka Doncic boy, was he special. He and Kyrie had a 36-piece. Seems to be their thing. 77-11, 36-36. You get where I'm going with that. Finals MVP is now, I think, the Magic Johnson Trophy. This is the second year of it. He wins the Finals MVP trophy. He had a tremendous series. I got 4 takeaways, and I know we got Brady coming up in about 5 minutes, so we won't go too deep into this game. And
you got 10 minutes.
I got 10 minutes.
Hey.
Then let's dive into it a little bit, Anson. I got 4 takeaways. Do you want all 4 of them?
I want
And then
all
you can,
4
and
and
then you
more.
can figure out. All right, here we go. The first quarter, you knew what Luka Doncic was about.
Oh, boy.
The first quarter, here it is. People talking about Minnesota Timberwolves. We're guilty because we said the same thing. We said Dallas would win, but we said that Minnesota would win the game last night. You said it,
we
Ryan
thought so.
said it, Matt said it, we all said it. No, Luka came out on a mission. 20 points in the first quarter is it is a statement. It's not happening tonight. I don't care what you thought you were getting. I don't care what people think they want. You're supposed to be the face of the new. I don't want to hear it. Luka Doncic, and I'm here. My time is now. My sidekick, Kyrie. 20 points in the first quarter. I think I already had 12 points in the first 153 seconds, if I am correct. So that's the first takeaway. He came out. You ready? Kyrie.
Matched it.
We talked about it. Joel talked about it. You talked about it. Kyrie has to get going in the first half. When Kyrie gets going in the first half, that's when you see the best version of the Dallas Mavericks. Well, he had 15 in the second quarter. They play off of each other so perfectly balanced. Get 20. Then you get 15. You get 21 out of Kyrie in the second half. It's 36. And then you get 16. But 16 when they count for Luka Doncic. That was thought too. Like, my God, like Kyrie, the vice versa-ness of how they're playing it. Thing 3. Isn't, last time I checked, Joe, Minnesota Timberwolves were the number 1, you guys are hilarious over there, the number 1 defense in the regular season. All we talked about was Minnesota's defense and how they played against Jokic and how they stopped the Denver Nuggets and how nobody had an answer for that. Well, is it just me, or did Dallas play better defense in 4 out of the 5 games? Dallas played defense in 4 out of the final games, and also, this is Luka's first NBA Finals. So, 4 takeaways. What do you think?
I mean, I love all those takeaways. Have you ever heard of a team that goes 7-1 on the road through the Western Conference
and
Finals?
does not make it to the finals?
Doesn't
it's never
advance?
happened. It's never happened.
Luka was fired up. You saw kind of a different Luka at the end of that game, just talking to the crowd. Really running his mouth. Stuff I would have gotten kicked out for.
Did you see what he said to Snoop Dogg?
Oh, well, he said it in that way. Snoop loved it.
Yeah.
Snoop loved it. I don't think we can say that here, though.
No, we can, but basically, Luka was with the you-know-whats last night.
Okay, so you and I disagreed on something, and I want to bring it back here. Rudy Gobert basically got exposed. Guy can rebound. He can guard the rim. But in terms of an actual one-on-one defender, he got absolutely embarrassed over the course of 5 games. If Wemby is matched up on Luka Doncic, does he go off for the same amount of numbers?
At this current time, yes.
You think?
At this current time, yes. Look, Wemby's a tremendous player. He had a tremendous rookie year. He's going to be the best player in the NBA, maybe even by the end of next year, depending on the growth and the jump that he takes in year 2. So not taking anything away. But you're talking about what Luka is doing. Luka has finally found himself. He's found himself with the rhythm of Kyrie.
Rudy can't move left and right, though. He just moves up and down.
You asked me 2 different questions. I'm confused.
You don't think Wemby would have done a better job?
He would have done a better job, but it wasn't much you could do with Luka. The way they were playing off each other, and then Wemby's still a young guy. Look, Rudy Gobert is exactly what he is. He is a great seasonal piece. And what I mean by that, he's great in the regular season.
Is he the defensive player of the year?
No, and he's not. And I've already told you that.
All right,
he's
very
not.
good. That's all I need.
Rudy Gobert is a regular season player. He's going to look good in the regular season when teams aren't playing as hard and they're just trying to get to the playoffs. But in the playoffs, you meet the best of the best and people that can expose you, like you said. And Rudy Gobert is always going to get exposed.
Wasn't Rudy the COVID spreader here in Detroit?
100%. And Donovan Mitchell.
He was the COVID spreader in Detroit.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell hasn't liked him ever since. But, Maz, you said the Celtics, and obviously the line has already come out. Celtics are favored in game 1.
They are. I'm changing my mind.
And that's exactly where I was going. Going into last night, you said the Celtics were your favorite. You thought that they were the better team.
Well, that's easy. Everyone would have said that. But
what's the spread?
They're definitely the favorite. But
what is it about last night that changed your mind?
They owned it.
Yeah.
And they probably were pissed that they let it get. And to Minnesota, they wanted to win it on their home court, and they let that one get away.
Yes, they did.
But the way they closed these kids out, and I'll say kids because Anthony Edwards, he was a no-show again. I mean, he was literally a no-show. This whole series, he was not the kid he was.
I think that 29, 10, and 9 was pretty good in game 4.
He had one game.
Yeah, I think
one
he was starstruck, to be perfectly honest with you.
I think he was moment struck.
It is what it is. You know, he's got other chances. He's 22 years old.
Sure.
But the way Dallas played, to me, they could beat Boston. But here's the problem. They got a week off now. So last night's game, it won't matter in a week. They're not going to win off of the high that they had last night.
Yeah.
If they played Boston in 2 days like it should be, they could beat Boston. Now Boston's got 10 days off. They have a week off. It's an even season.
You know what I like?
It's in Boston.
You know what I liked about it? And once again, we got my man Brady Quinn coming up in a few minutes or so. But we could talk about the Celtics, and we could talk about the Mavs, and we could preview that after. But you know who won last night? Anson. You know who won last night, Mavs?
Mark Cuban.
It was Mark Cuban definitely won, but the NBA won. The NBA won, and basketball international won. This is why I won. One, Luka Doncic beats Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, now you got a rivalry. You have a Western Conference rivalry in the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You got a rivalry. Two, you got a guy in Anthony Edwards. What happens if Anthony Edwards would have won the finals this year, would have won the championship, and at 22 years old, does he get better? Does he get worse? Does he keep striving to reach the unattainable goal? No, he's already attained it. That's a possibility. Now what happens in the offseason? Oh, Lord, he's got to go to work. He's got to go to work. But guess what else happens this summer? Oh, it's the Olympics.
Yeah, good.
So
good
now
point.
you get to see this rivalry renewed this summer with Slovenia's going to be a damn good basketball team.
Yes, they will.
Team USA, they're going to be a good basketball team. Anthony Edwards is on that team. And now you add the Jason Tatum spectrum other side of things. Celtics, Jason Tatum, he's also on that USA team. And it's going to be a rivalry. So you're starting a rivalry for the summer.
Did Cade make that team?
I think he made the team where the practice team. Like the team that when they practice before they get ready to go over there, and I think he might be something like an alternate, something in a dire situation. He crushed it last year.
It would be nice to see him get
all the guys around the league, the elite level players, they all were talking about Cade Cunningham coming out of Vegas last. That's why I was so excited about him and Jaden Ivey this particular past season.
I would love to see a couple of guys bail out of that and let him play.
But
wouldn't that
know
be
how
fun?
that works out.
Do you think
But I'm excited, man. Can you think Anthony Edwards, you know how he is. Can you imagine him a whole offseason? Nothing to think about but Luka, that loss, those 5 games. I'm telling you, it couldn't have happened better for the NBA. That's just my estimation.
Should Kyrie Irving be on the Olympic team?
Well, he already didn't make it, so I mean.
I didn't ask whether he made it or not. I'm asking if he should be on it. There is not a point guard that should be on it more than Kyrie Irving.
Well, this is the same conversation that we had about Kyrie Irving not making NBA All-Pro, and you trying to take him from honorable mention.
Not a well-liked guy.
100%. But you know what? Time heals all wounds. Time heals all wounds. And I think those wounds of the people that were pissed about the retweet, the people that were pissed about the Sage, he's going to go out there and have a tremendous series against the Celtics. What if he gets this championship against the Celtics, one of the teams that he allegedly burned, pun intended? Kyrie's legendary is changed. And we talked about this yesterday, Anson. Kevin Garnett said something that was so dope. He said it's like when Kobe transformed from 8 to 24. Who's Kyrie's favorite player? Everything he does is to emulate Mamba. The first person he called after he won a championship, he called Kobe. Kobe went from 8 to 24. He was a team guy. He knew how to work with the system. It was all basketball. It was all this. It was tunnel vision. I think that's what you're seeing out of Kyrie, and I think that's what you're going to see. And that's what Maz is talking about in terms of they really look like a team that can get it done.
Who do you want to win? Who do you guys want to win?
I wore the Dallas Mavericks jersey yesterday. Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah, I want Dallas. I would never root for the Celtics.
Yeah, I want Kyrie
I root
Irving
for Russia
to win.
over the Celtics.
What you got going on? What's up, Sekou Benson? Shout out to my boy Sekou Benson in the studio. Bishop Gallagher's finest. We were sitting there talking about George Sahady a minute ago. I know you know that guy. What's up, Tom?
Hey, Mike Reed, super fan. $20 he threw.
$20.
$20 he
we
threw.
got to read everything he said.
He said Mavs are winning the NBA championship. Boston is overrated. And
Well,
a couple of guys
right.
on the chat, Alan W., who else said this? Jeremy Thornton. They said home court don't mean anything to the Celtics. This is a perfect storm for the Dallas Mavericks. So Dallas is getting favored in the chat right now.
I mean, I'd like to see that happen. I don't want to see Boston get any more rings. These guys had the easiest road to the finals that I can ever remember out of the East. So, yeah, please.
Well, we'll talk more about it a little bit later.
We'll talk more. We'll put a pin in the NBA right now, and now we'll get to the NFL as well as NCAA football. My main man, Brady Quinn, will be with us. We're going to go a quick commercial break. We'll bring him in.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Joining us now is a friend, dear friend of mine. Also, he is extremely talented at what he does. He works for Fox Sports as well as the best post and pregame show there is, Big Noon Kickoff. Brady Quinn, how you been, man? It's been forever.
BQ.
I know. It feels like it's been a while, but thanks for having me on.
You've been running from me.
No. You know, we're just adjusting to life with 4 little kiddos. It's been probably one of the biggest adjustments I've had to make in life. So it's been a lot of fun, but definitely an adjustment for my wife and I, man. How are you guys doing?
We're doing real good, man. 4 kids. Like, when's the Brady time? When do you get a little plot of space for yourself?
Usually when they're in school, which we've got 3 of the 4 in school right now. Our son probably won't be old enough next year to send him to preschool. So still be hunkering down with 1 at least at home. But yeah, usually during that period of time when they're in school, that's where we get to have a little bit of fun.
You'll be proud, Brady. Every time I'm looking at you when we get a chance to see each other, I'm like, I got to start working out again because whatever I'm doing, it's not working. I got to look like my brother. So I've been back in the gym, 6 months strong, man. You happily know that I look something like Brady Quinn, man. I'm proud of myself.
I don't even know why you try to get – I've seen you before. You are an Adonis, so I'm not sure why we're even having this competition right now. If anything, I need to get back on the weight treatment. I've been probably trying to play too much golf, which has gotten in the way of my training and lifting like I'd like to be doing right now.
Yeah, I picked up a golf club. It didn't go too well the other day. I think I'm still thinking about the weights Monday through Friday. Joining me with my host today, Ryan Zow, is Anson Wells. He's Michigan State guy, legend, as it relates to the heckling business in the NBA. Michigan State, Notre Dame, big rivalry out of you guys. Tell me your favorite Michigan State moment. I know where we're going. I set you up. I don't like Anson, by the way.
Anson, the problem is like the last year I was there, so in the 2006 game in East Lansing, awesome comeback. But it wasn't one of my favorite games only because, I didn't play that great, especially in the first half. I mean,
was it Jeff Samardzija?
Jeff Samardzija, he was there. Remy McKnight as well. Remy had a few big catches in plays. John Carlson, our tight end, had a few big catches in plays in the comeback. But that one doesn't stand out to me. The first trip I had to East Lansing in 2004, that one sticks out. That was I guess the very first one. Even though we lost my freshman year when Michigan State came to East Lansing, it was really the most significant reps that I got. And they put me in on the 2-minute drive as we were down trying to come back. And so I let us down on a touchdown drive. We didn't get the onside kick, but it was basically my job from that point moving forward for the rest of my time at Notre Dame. So that final drive, we ran like a little Z drive concept. We were running on the West Coast. So it was Remy McKnight coming from right to left on the shallow cross. They brought the Sam Mike, right? So kind of a fire zone, blitz zone, what the terminology is. and he had the backside end kind of dropped past him, and there was just all this open green grass, so it drifted back through it to him. He kind of ran for the touchdown. That one really stands out, but it was always a great rivalry. Whether it was Michigan State, Michigan, those were physical matchups and always tough matchups for us.
It's crazy. Growing up, I actually thought that Michigan and Notre Dame was a huge rivalry, which it is. Don't get me wrong. But my time at Michigan and a little past that, Michigan State and Notre Dame's rivalry was better than Michigan and Notre Dame's rivalry. So I always appreciate and respect that you guys' rivalry. I know we don't have you for long, so let's jump into it. You have been a guy that's been on the Detroit Lions from the beginning. You've talked about Dan Campbell. You've talked about what they were going to do. Here they are 3 years into Dan Campbell's situation. They get to the NFC Championship. They get this close. Did the Lions get better in the offseason? They were one of the 4 teams last year trying to get better in the offseason. Free agency, DJ Reader. They bring in Davenport. They bring in Carlton Davis. The draft, they go after the secondary position, Terry and Arnold out of Alabama, Ennis Rakestraw out of Missouri. Did the Lions become better, and do you think they're a team that should be favored to win the Super Bowl?
I don't know that I put them at number one.
Because I think they're 3.
I'd put them somewhere. I'd probably put them somewhere in the top 5, top 6. And the only reason I say that is because, we saw what they did last year. And I think, you and I both know, B, from just playing in the NFL, how hard it is to make that incremental improvement. And when you get to the NFC Championship game, you sit there and you're like, dude, we were that close. We were right there. It's about taking that next step, and it's really hard to do sometimes. And sometimes luck and things that are out of your control has to play a factor too. But you hit the nail on the head with as far as what they did in the offseason. They had to address some of the defensive issues, and they did that, in particular in the secondary. So that's been shored up. Yes, you got some young players, but I think guys who can step up right away and be day one starters for them. And I think the thing that I love the most, really about Brad Holmes and what he did, Dan Campbell, what they did, it was with the business. Like a lot of these teams, like look at the Dallas Cowboys right now. Like CeeDee Lamb's deal's not done. Dak Prescott's going into his final year. A lot of pressure on Mike McCarthy going into his final year. Like you have all this stuff up in the air.
Distractions.
And exactly. And sometimes that business bleeds onto the field. And you look at what the Lions did. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets his extension. Penei Sewell gets his extension. Jared Goff, like everyone gets taken care of. And it's like you don't have distractions. You don't have any of those things to be concerned about. Guys not being there. Guys frustrated about the business side of it. I love that. Like, I love that Detroit's like, dude, we're in this window of success. Let's go for it. Let's sign these guys. Let's make them happy. And by the way, like, you save money that way. Amon-Ra St. Brown's deal was great, but like you see all these receivers who are signing after him because now they're going to try to one-up him. And so it's not that makes this deal a bad deal. It's still a great deal. It's just a matter that Detroit Lions realized they weren't going to sit around. They weren't going to wait and allow the market to basically dictate how much they're going to have to pay these players. So I love everything they've done this offseason. Obviously a big Dan Campbell fan, big Lions fan, and what they're going to be capable of. But can they do it again 2 years in a row? That's tough to do.
Hey, Brady, it's Maz. Good to have you on again. Hey, 2 divisions that catch my eye. I think the 2 best divisions in football is the AFC North and our NFC North. Out of those 8 teams, I mean, the AFC North, even with Pittsburgh, I think all 4 of those, if the chips fall right, they all can make the playoffs, including your old team and Braylon's old team, the Cleveland Browns. What do you say about those 2 divisions?
I mean, I would say the Cleveland Browns have the best roster, but in regards to of all those teams, but in regards to the divisions, look, to me, it's the AFC North and then kind of everyone else. And it's no disrespect to any other division in football, but you can't tell me. I mean, right now, you kind of look at the Bears and go, okay, they got Caleb Williams, they had Keenan Allen, they had some additions too, like on defense as well. But we've got to see it first. Like, can they have a winning record? I'm just talking playoffs. Detroit did. Green Bay's young, had a great second half of the season. Minnesota is kind of in a rebuild year cap-wise. We'll see what J.J. McCarthy becomes. If they get Justin Jefferson's deal done, Dallas Turner, can he be the impactful player Daniel Hunter was? So I just think there's more questions in the NFC North compared to the AFC North. Any one of those teams can, I think, make a playoff run, but all of them can make the playoffs. And if you're questioning Pittsburgh, like, I'm a buyer in Pittsburgh. I don't know how people keep questioning Mike Tomlin. I mean, all the guy does is
win.
Winning. And he's got defense. He's got the run game. I do think Russ will be better in Arthur Smith's system in Pittsburgh. Like the downside of Mike Tomlin was his stubbornness and his loyalty to not want to get rid of Matt Canada.
Oh, my God.
He finally did. And so now that opens everything up for them. So I think Russ will be great in the system. Pittsburgh's going to be tough. If Deshaun Watson can stay healthy, that's the biggest question. But if not, like, I'm a believer in Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that could be it. But like, if Jameis gets his shot with that talent they have out around him, now you got Jerry Jeudy to go with Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, David Njoku. I mean, that is as good of a roster as you're going to find. It just comes down to quarterback play. And the defense was lights out last year. We know what Baltimore can be. We've seen that. They make it to the AFC Championship game. And can Joe Burrow stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, we know they're a contender too. So to me, it's the AFC North and kind of the rest of the league as far as the toughness of the divisions.
Yeah, T. Higgins will definitely be paying to get that contract next season. But, 100%. It's going to be interesting in the AFC North, Anson.
Brady, summer of 2009, there's two guys in Cleveland, and they both want out. There's a lot of talk about both of them maybe going to New York. Now, we're pretty familiar here with Braylon's love for the city of Cleveland. Can you just speak on that and how you guys were both thinking you might be in New York?
So I didn't think I'd be in New York at that moment. I actually thought rumors were when I was on training camp, I was going to get traded to Denver, which, Braylon had been in the NFL longer than I had. That was really the first time I'd experienced anything like that. I was in a quarterback competition. I was more focused on that, the offense, everything else. I still remember basically what solidified my opportunity to start that year was hitting Braylon in a preseason game versus, I think it was the Tennessee Titans.
It was Titans.
On a skinny post.
It was Michael Jackson's birthday.
Which is the most random fact.
No, the only reason I know that because he died that summer. And then in that preseason game, I caught a touchdown on his birthday because I did the Michael Jackson on his toes. So
he a little toe drag thing. Yeah, there it is. All right. So I didn't remember that part of it, but I do remember throwing him a touchdown pass, and that was kind of like the moment that sealed it. Yeah. And I was going to be able to get the start.
Thank God.
But it was crazy. And the hard thing is we go, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks into the season, B, then you get traded?
Yep, 4.
And I'll never forget. I called B's cell phone. And he's always got Frank Sinatra, New York play. That's just
I told you, man.
I love it.
I told you. I changed it right away, man. I was excited.
Quick. And so I obviously wanted to wish him good luck. It put me in a tough spot. We had a couple of young rookies that year then who really stepped into the role as the lead receivers, and that's obviously not easy, especially first year head coach there in Eric Mangini, a new system with Brian Daboll. So it was all kind of new to all of us, but that was one of the funnier things. It was that quick. News hit. He had already changed the voice.
Yeah, it happened quick.
He left all his gear there. He didn't even go back for his. He left, I think, an Apple computer there. He didn't even go back.
Sony Vaio. He knows that because Annette. Annette became my aunt. Annette grabbed all my stuff for me. That's a funny story. Go ahead.
Brady, you're a quarterback guru. I got to ask you, we're all wondering about Hendon Hooker. If he's healthy this season and enters the draft, in those first 12 picks with the other 6 quarterbacks, where does he fit in?
It's hard. It's hard to kind of figure that out. I mean, statistically speaking, obviously he put up a lot of numbers there in Tennessee, and that's kind of what that offense is known for a bit. He was experienced, older guy. Maybe you start to talk about him more along the lines of like Bo Nix. But it's tough. Like this class, Caleb was by far and away number 1 in my mind. I would have put Drake May up there. I thought his season 2 years ago was pretty special. And you got the sense of really how just good he was and what he was dealing with that around him. J.J. McCarthy just wins. I mean, a lot of people are frustrated so much with the stats and all. We've talked about that, but every time he needs to make a play, he does. Michael Penix, to me, had the second best tape of anyone this year. Like, I loved watching him in Washington the past 2 years.
What do you think about that pick? I just got to pick your brain real quick because I was going to ask you that anyway. Atlanta, what are they doing? Were they right? Were they wrong? What do you think about that?
I would say this. If your biggest issue is the quarterback position, which is why ultimately they moved on from Arthur Smith and why they made changes there, then you addressed it. You did it in 2 ways where you've got Kirk Cousins, who's proven to have a certain amount of success so far in the NFL, and then you've got a guy you really love. And if you love that guy, go draft him and let him learn from a guy who's a pro, right? Like allow Michael Penix to continue to learn that system and grow. And also, like, you never know how Kirk Cousins will come back from an Achilles tear. Like we all assume everyone's going to be able to play in their 40s like Tom Brady. And you obviously saw the injury to Aaron Rodgers last year.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting.
So it's kind of a thought that like, hey, man, there's still some risk there. So why not address this position at both old and young? And then we've got to cover. We don't have to worry about this because if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a shot. They've got 2 now. So it will put more pressure on Kirk Cousins. But look, he's He's put pressure on himself. He's played into free agency years. He's played under franchise tags. He stepped up every single time. So I don't doubt that he'll be fine this year. And I think Penix will grow a lot and learn a lot from Kirk Cousins. But I honestly didn't have as big of an issue with it as everyone else. Like, everyone's acting like it was their money that they had paid Kirk Cousins
exactly
$100 million. Well, like, if that's the prerogative, let them do it. Like, ultimately, you look at their front office, you look at Raheem Morris. If it doesn't work, they're the ones that pay the price.
You ain't lying.
But I actually did. Yeah.
Hey, we could talk NFL all day with you, Brady, but I got to take it over to college for a minute. Can you please explain to me what it means, the NIL versus now they're going to let college teams pay their players? I'm completely lost, man. What do you got for me?
Yeah, we've really complicated it because we had to give what has always existed, this acronym, this NIL, right? It's just marketing. That's what it was supposed to be. People tend to forget that what they were ultimately trying to do was say that student athletes who played a sport, who were really good at their sport, could go sign marketing deals or sponsorship deals with different corporations to go be on a commercial or go promote something. What happened was then entities were created to then create those opportunities for student athletes. And it wasn't supposed to be pay to play, but that's essentially what it became, because that's what you had to do in order to be able to retain your roster that you currently have and recruit. And so because that was the world that everyone had to live in, everyone's doing it. And everyone realized this wasn't the intent, but that's where we are. So what they do, now they're going to have a revenue share, and it will start here about a year from now, where student athletes will get paid essentially what is almost like a salary cap. Each university is going to be subject to distribute the funds and money however they see fit, which will be interesting to take a look at once it actually goes into effect. But the question mark that's still out there is the collectives. And in what way will they exist, if they still will be able to exist? We know the IRS has sent out letters that have cautioned those that are nonprofits that they might not have their tax exempt status, so that could potentially change. But what about the for-profit entities? You still have this group of alumni networks that are out there that might say, hey, we want this player. Let's go offer him X amount of dollars to come show up at a birthday party where he shows up, does his deal, paid for it in exchange. Is the IRS, is the federal government going to create some sort of federal law that's going to prohibit that? Those are the questions that still exist that we don't know. So it's awesome that the players now, or student athletes, I should say, are getting a piece of the pie, but there's still so many things to be sorted out between now and then. And how do the collectives, how does NIL in what it was supposed to be, not pay for play, but truly marketing deals, how does that play a factor or play a role?
Is it only football or is it basketball? The other sports are going to be like, hey, where's mine? They don't deserve it. It's football and basketball. It's football.
Easy, man.
Hey, Brady. Maz does not speak for me, ladies and gentlemen. Fox 2, I speak for myself.
Yeah, he doesn't speak for me either. I just watched our Notre Dame lacrosse team win back-to-back national championships. They've been very active in the NIL space. And so I hope programs like this are able to benefit from it, because we should always reward excellence. But the question you asked, here's the answer. We don't know. Let's say, for example, everyone's getting $20 million. That university, that athletic department is going to decide how they want to allocate those funds. And so they can then spread those out over, $18 million to the football team if they want, or the $2 million for the rest, or they can say, hey, we're going to give $10 million to football, $10 million to the other sports, and this is how we're going to divvy it up. And then, the athletic department, the coaches, the general managers, now we've got that title popping up in college sports. They would then discern and say, this is how much we need to compete. This is how much we're going to spend on our starters, backups, etc. This is what it's going to look like. So moving towards, hopefully that answered your question.
Yes.
Hey, Brady, look, man, we appreciate you for joining us. So I'm going to let you go, but I'm going to ask you one quick question, one last one. NFL draft, 6 quarterbacks go in the top 12 picks, I do believe. Did the NFL teams get it right with the 6 quarterbacks?
Yes, because I think they had to.
Okay.
In fact, I think if you're looking at the Las Vegas Raiders right now, you had Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I mean, that couldn't have been plan A, or maybe even plan B.
Did you hear what Terry Arnold said? Terry Arnold said Antonio Pierce told him he flipped the coin to see if it was going to be Brock Bowers. Could be a little extra, but just throwing it out there.
Someone might have said, hey, it was a coin flip, and then someone takes that literally. Literally. Like we just heard news too. The special teams coach had said in a meeting, hey, anyone can play, special teams. That's how you make this roster. Even Justin Fields could play it, right? And Jalen Warren says it on a podcast, and then it gets out to the media, and the media is like, well, they're going to use Justin Fields as a return man? Are they going to use him on special teams? No, it's a matter of speech, right? It's like coach talk. So
it's a joke. It's locker room talk.
I don't buy into that, but I'll say this. I don't think the draft went how Las Vegas wanted it to go. And I think they're in a really, really tough spot because they do have a good roster. I like Antonio Pierce. And Gardner Minshew allowed the Colts to be competitive last year with the Anthony Richardson injury in Indy. But, man, we'll see. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, whoever wins that out. But I think a lot of other teams cook quarterbacks because they had to. What's Denver going to do? If they don't have Bo Nix, who else are you starting? Jarrett Stidham? Who are you looking at? You feel good about this.
Yeah.
Brady, what do you think of the new kickoff rule?
I've got more curiosity about it more than anything else. I like the fact we're keeping the kickoff as part of the game. It would be weird to not have a kickoff, but then say we're kicking off at this time because no one would be watching that, right? So I'm glad it's a part of the game. I do think there'll be some teams that utilize the formations and utilize personnel. I mean, look at the rugby player that the Kansas City Chiefs have signed. Mm-hmm. His name's escaped me at the moment, but this dude can fly. And they've already – like everyone's talking about Xavier Worthy because his 40-yard dash time at the Combine and Hollywood Brown. This is the most interesting storyline to me is like, how do they use this kid? Because he can absolutely fly. And you're talking
the right guy
at 23 miles per hour with no pads on, running through dudes. So he's going to be a kick return specialist, and he could end up being a really important piece of that field position battle and maybe put up some big plays. So I think I'm a fan of it now, but I want to reserve the right to wait and see how it's implemented.
He is Notre Dame legend. He is Fox Analyst legend, and he's also my good friend. Brady Quinn, always appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, man, because you didn't have
Thanks,
to.
Brady.
Thanks so much, brother.
Good time, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week.
Appreciate it.
Season's coming up. We'll talk some Sharon Moore later. I know there's a lot of Michigan questions.
Yeah,
we'll get to those in August.
Hey, we're going to be there week 2. We'll be in Ann Arbor.
Woo,
taking on
Texas. Let's go.
If you have some time, maybe we can grab a bite to eat.
For sure. Let's do it.
Say less.
See you, Brady.
All right, brother.
Yes.
Always fun to have BQ on the show. Look, man, he is tremendous at what he does. And you get a quick feel, like Anson. Like, we've had him on the show numerous times, but as soon as he gets in, he dials into what's going on.
Oh.
You don't really have to ask him questions because the questions I wanted to ask him about the quarterbacks, he answered them. You asked him questions about your division. He broke down the AFC North like no other, man. Anson Wells, what do you think about it?
He's just been a polished pro since his days in South Bend to the NFL to now in the broadcast booth. I can't wait to call my buddy after this show and tell him who I got to interview today because that's just his favorite.
Yeah, I tried to crack a joke by asking what was his favorite moment. I want him to go to that Samardzija game. But I forgot he didn't necessarily have the best game that game, but they won though.
Well, wait a second. He was anointed, he said, in East Lansing. It's a beautiful place, Braylon.
Yeah, it didn't happen in Ann Arbor because he got in Ann Arbor. It didn't go so well.
I like how you guys threw me under the bus when I said the other sports don't deserve any of that money because it's football. That's why you're getting paid. Basketball is second, and that's it.
Maz,
that's it.
But you're absolutely correct. I just had to say it for the aesthetics of it all. But when the NIL first got announced, or when they started talking about the possibility that you really would be able to pay players, that what I basically said, and I stick by this, I said this years ago, I said, no, it's still the same thing. I said, you should get paid based on what you bring in.
Yes.
Like, just keep it simple. So when you guys were talking about $20 million and how you allocate the money, that is in line with what I always thought. I said, all right, well, football's bringing in this, basketball's bringing in this, baseball's bringing in this. Some schools, softball, like UCLA, Tom Brady's niece, she brings in a lot of money in softball out there. Whatever you bring in is what you get back. And what you don't, you don't. It's simple as that.
Pretty much.
So sharing that money with the other programs would be like the NBA sharing money with the WNBA? Is that what you're saying?
And with that, we will take a quick commercial break. We'll take a quick commercial break. We didn't get in the first one. First one, my man, Pete, tell us about Swiss.
That's right. Right now, more than ever, it's critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or head to SwissINS.com. Now let's head over to Braylon.
You know what? I got a video coming for you guys when we get back out of commercial break because I got a workout in today, and guess where it was at? It was at Planet Fitness because my fitness was essential. $10 a month is all they charge. I saw this in person, home of the squeaky clean gym. I took pictures of it just for you. And also, there is no judgment. I saw all types of people working out, all different ages, all different sizes. They were working out at the same pace, getting it in, because there's no judgment there. You had a good time, and I appreciate the people. Maple and Orchard Lake, that's the one I was on. They did a great job. The gym was clean. It was fun. And also, on your way out, don't forget to get some of those fruities, the purple kind. See you at Planet Fitness very soon.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the off-season smells good. Woodward
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that you've come to know for years. On Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Check us out at Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com. Together, let's drive. And if you're driving, why don't you drive right over to Lady Jane's, where it is wicked awesome. A guy can be a guy, come get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax, and just let one of the talented stylists let you and make you feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. It is wicked awesome.
Travis
before we went to
Clayton.
commercial break, we did the Planet Fitness. I always talk about your fitness is essential. I always talk about the squeaky clean gym. Well, I put my money where my mouth is, and I got a workout in there today. Pete, throw it up there if you will. This is the gym from the floor, if you will. See how clean that floor is?
You know,
See how clean that floor is? See the benches? See how shiny? See how shiny the armor is? The iron, if you will, the metal. And then your boy had to, just a light Friday.
Just a little warm up.
Just a light Friday, man. Just a light 225, man. You don't want to lift too much.
You know, Brady Quinn was talking about a rugby guy, in case anybody at home was wondering. Travis Clayton, 6'7", 303 pounds, and runs a 4.7 40-yard dash. That guy's going to be hurting people on kickoff.
If you ever talk through my workout video game, man, you're going to have problems.
I didn't know you were going there, man.
We're going to have problems. I put it up there. I was trying to show the people that you got to go get a workout in at Planet Fitness.
Just follow him on his Instagram. There's a little taste of that on the daily.
Man, it was about Planet Fitness, man. They're tremendous. You see the studio? This is the Planet Fitness studio. You see what's behind me? I'm trying to pay some bills out here.
I heard Brady call you an Adonis. I wasn't arguing, man. You're a monster over there.
That's Maz boy, man. Brady needs to keep it. Tom Mazaway, where do you want to go from here? With so many things, I think we got some great sound.
He brought the rugby guy up. I want to say who the Lions are going to put back there. And would you put Jamison Williams as your kick returner?
No.
In the way they do it now.
No.
Top 5 PFF rated running back in the league last year. Sione Vaki was. Yeah. Don't sleep on how many different roles that guy has. He'll be returning plenty.
I wouldn't do Jameis Williams back there because at the end of the day, the kick return is still a death trap. I don't care the
Yeah, no
guys
doubt.
aren't coming from 40 yards away. It's still a possibility to get hurt on a play that's not necessarily going to decide the game. So Jamison Williams, he hasn't gotten to that point yet.
I'm just thinking of how do you use him? How can you use him?
At wide receiver.
Number
Because
2.
we talked, how many catches can he get with all the talent on that team?
Yeah,
Why
last time
not use him? Why not use him where you can really use him?
What
That's
other
'cause-
wide receiver talent they have?
Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, those
all
are
right.
tight ends. Yes, they receive the ball, but you're talking about a guy. I mean, just look at any team that wins. They got 2 guys that really get out here and get it. You look at the Eagles, you're talking A.J. Brown, you're talking Devontae Smith. You look at Miami, you're talking Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. The list goes on. You got yourself 2 guys. You heard Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell said that Jamison Williams is the most improved player through Lions OTAs so far in terms of on the field, in terms of his approach to the game. So he's your receiver that got drafted to be a number 1. I think we give him a chance to be that number 1. I remember my rookie year, Kellen Winslow was injured. He got injured his rookie year on special teams. They didn't draft him to be a special teams guy. So I think that's Sione Vaki guy. I think that's who you take a look at. Started as a safety, but they needed him to play running back last year. Not only did he play running back, like you said, he finished top 5 in grades on PFF. So I think he's an interesting enough player. You could put him in that and let him major in that. The person that plays that role, I want them to star in that role. Like if I'm a head coach, I want to pick a player like this is your role. Like this is what you are. You are our return specialist. We're not looking for you to do this and also catch passes. We're not looking for you to do this and also play safety. I want this to be your job. I want this to be what you love and what you're getting paid to do. What you think about that?
Sam Laporta said today at camp that the way he looked at Jamison Williams and he was just taken aback at how fast he is and how great he looks. That's the second time we've heard that this kid is really showing out right now.
Very
Just
excited.
wanted to bring that up. Ben Johnson also spoke to the media yesterday and got up on the dais and they asked him, what made you stay here instead of going to be a head coach somewhere? This is a pretty darn good thing. Here he is, Ben Johnson.
Something that really resonates with me is, 8 openings this past year. What would you set the over-under in 3 years? How many still have jobs? I'd put the over-under at 4.5. I would say there's a good chance 5 of them are out of jobs in 3 years. And so when I look at it from that perspective, if I get the opportunity to go down that road, it's about how do I get to that second contract? How do I set myself up that the stars need to align? I'm not going to do it just to do it. I love what I'm doing right now. Love it. I love where I'm at. My family loves where we're at. Love the people that we're doing it with. And so I'm not willing to go down the other path yet unless I feel really good about how it's going to unfold.
What's in 2 or 3 would make?
Say it again?
I said that's what I meant, 2 or 3 would make it.
Right. Yeah.
Under what circumstances would you, what are you looking for? What would be the right opportunity for you? Without naming teams or whatever, what sort of factors?
Yeah, it comes down to its ownership, its staff, it's my vision of how I can make it work with how I know I am. Like part of me too, I love play calling. And so I would, if I took a head coaching job, would want to be a play calling head coach. Well, there's a limit on how much time there is during a week. And so what's it going to look like Monday through Sunday in that regard? And just want to make sure everything's nailed down. And listen, there's an adjustment period for every person that takes that job. They're learning on the fly. But I think the more that you have set, and feel good about, that gives you the best chance. I was actually talking with someone the other day about this man, the longer you're in the coordinator chair, it does nothing but help you and prepare you more for the next step if it ever comes down the pipe. So personally, I don't feel like I'm hurting my opportunities or my abilities to be a head coach in the future. And I love what I'm doing right now.
That's a smart man. How about him setting over-unders on how many of those 8 coaches will have a job after 3 years? He says 4.5 is the over-under. So he believes the jobs he passed up would not have fit him. And that's why he's staying with the Lions. And you heard him at the end. Being a coordinator, the more you know, the better you're going to be suited for it. And he wants to keep calling plays, Bray.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the things that I highlighted in there, and I wrote it down, and said, I love play calls.
Yeah.
He loves calling plays. He loves when he can watch his magic work. A lot of times, look, everybody can't be Andy Reid, call plays and head coach. Everybody can't be Sean Payton. And we got to see if it works for Sean Payton the second time around. Everybody can't be Sean McVay, won the Super Bowl as a play calling head coach. For every one of those, there's a bunch of guys that tried and failed. Look at Arthur Smith. Yep. Arthur Smith is an offensive genius, is what they've called this guy, but as a head coach in Atlanta, he couldn't
do both.
He could not do both. And so if you're Ben Johnson, it sounds like Ben Johnson is just one of those guys that's very rare, that gets it at a young age. He understands what he wants. He understands how he's going to go about attaining that. Usually these type of people, they turn into the what was the guy from San Francisco? It's killing me right now. Bill Walsh. They turn into the Bill Walsh. They turn into the Eric Coryells. They turn into the Kyle. They turn to the Kyle Shanahans. These are guys that understand what they want. These jobs won't be there for everybody. Antonio Pierce, insert guy here. The clock's on for these guys. Ben Johnson understands what this city has. No one's ever seen this type of situation in Detroit. No one's ever seen how Brad Holmes as a GM has run the league. He's doing a lot of implementary things that teams are starting to copy. You saw Nico Collins. You saw insert wide receiver yesterday that just got paid as well, Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
Why would you want to rush to not be a part of that if the right situation wasn't there? If the right thing where you know what? This thing has legs. I think I'll have some time to develop what I want. You saw what it took here, so you know what not to do.
And in a day and age where people want that success overnight, this guy...
You're not lying. Because people got money now.
Well, and even if they don't, but they want it overnight. The moment they get just a glimpse of that success, they want the next step. This guy is taking those steps on his own. But what really was conveyed in that interview right there, to me, he is a man who's happy in his role. And that is something that all of the Detroit Lions share for the first time in me being a fan. Everybody there is happy to do what they're doing. Guy like Hendon Hooker, he goes a lot of other spots. He's going to be itching to play already. Right now, he knows his role, and he's happy in that role. And you see it in interview after interview with line after line, from the front office to the sidelines to the field. This is a team full of human beings, absolutely happy in their role and ready to fulfill them.
Like, Anson, let me ask you a question before we get back to Maz, because there's more sound from the Detroit Lions. But I'm sure you have friends that stay in other cities, friends that stay in other states. I'm sure you guys go back and forth, whether it's about Michigan State and their school, whether it's about the Detroit Lions and their team. How good does it feel as a fan that when you're having these banters, when you're having this back and forth, the stuff you're saying, you actually really believe, unlike before?
It's so good that it feels weird. You feel like you're going to wake up. You catch yourself pinching yourself. And heaven help us, but you start to really have expectations. I mean, we talked about it here the other day. What could happen to derail this team from the playoffs? And all this stuff from prior years of being a Lions fan, it doesn't really creep in like it did before. It's just so enjoyable to have an off season like this after a season like that, and knowing that our window isn't just 2024, it's the rest of this decade.
You know, the happiest guy probably
that
Ben Johnson is staying here is Jared Goff. I mean, Ben Johnson got Jared Goff in the right direction. I mean,
that's
a slam dunk.
That's the depths of despair.
That's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Now, Ben Johnson, he could have been anywhere. He was Washington wanted him.
2 years in a row.
They wanted him. He didn't go. He likes this staff, and he wants more than last year. They got to the NFC Championship game a minute or two away from winning the damn thing. So here's more Ben Johnson on why he stayed here in Detroit.
It was the second time I've been to the playoffs. The first time I'd experienced winning games in the playoffs. I think when it boils down to it, I wanted the sunshine a little bit longer. You know, that's really what it comes down to for me. I like the sunshine. I like what we've built here, starting with ownership, the head coach, the GM, on down. We have a great group of guys in the locker room, and I want to reap the rewards with them a little bit longer.
You know, Ben's always done a really good job of, no matter what he's in, you know, he can see things for what they are now, but he can also look out and say, all right, what is this a year from now, 2 years from now? What does this really mean? Is this good? Is it not good? Is it the best thing for me, for my family? He's just always been able to, and he can lay it out and look at a process to it. And so I think Am I surprised? No. Only because, but I wouldn't have been surprised had he taken one too. But I just think he's very much like, man, I think he feels like it's a good opportunity here and he wants to make the most of it. And if something else comes available, it needs to be right. Everything needs to be right. And I appreciate the vibe. Not everybody would do that, you know. But I think it's also a little bit of living in the moment too, right? I mean, I think he enjoys it here. The family enjoys it here, and with a group of guys that he really respects and loves to be around, coaches, players. It's a good vibe right now. So, why not live it to the fullest, and then the next thing will be the next thing.
All right, don't worry. I'll be Dan's translator on that. He said all that debate. He said, thank God Ben Johnson didn't leave. We need Ben Johnson here. Same thing Tom Masaway just said. Ben Johnson and Jared Goff, they make magic together. And I think Ben's he's really digging his heels into what he's going to be as a play caller. And this is setting him up to be a better head coach in the following seasons. But Dan Campbell's up there like, thank you.
Thank you.
I needed this season.
His staff is staying, man.
100%. It's you can't be up there and be a big guy like Dan Campbell and be blushing. But he's blushing because he's damn sure happy to have him back. We got more sound from the Lions Day. Today is a Good Friday.
Oh, yeah.
No April. It went with it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, get you to some of that sound. First, let's get this message from WSN Merch.
All right, everybody. Right now, head over to shop.sports.com and load up on some of the latest Detroit sports wearables, including the $775,000 NFL Detroit Draft Day t-shirt. And don't forget about the quarter golf pullover as well. Head right now to shop.woodwardsports.com and load on up over to Maz for Premier Pet.
All right, guys, hands down, Michigan's best pet store, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, nutritionists on call at your wish. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. Try them out. PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios. Let me tell you a little personal story about myself with Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness helped me change my life, and it can do the same for you. The best gym in the gym game. The clean facilities, tons of cardio equipment, tons of weights as well. And look, through all the price increases, inflation, all that, hasn't happened at Planet Fitness. Still $1 down, $10 per month, $24.99 a month for the Black Card as well. It's Planet Fitness, everybody, where your fitness is essential. What's up, everybody? Neil Rule, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, home of the Planet Fitness Studios.
Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza? Watching your favorite sports team play. An answer is nothing. I'll cut you off there. And now it's Soroki's Nashville Hot is back, but it's only back for a limited time. The pizza, the chicken sandwich, the tenders, and the fries, they are hot, they are spicy, but they're also fire. And I mean that in the best way possible. But if fire is not your thing, they do have salad sides, and they are fresh. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget about those crispy biscuits as well. Oh, with the honey, they are amazing. You got to remember that Nashville Hot, it's only for a limited time. It will be gone soon. Soroki's, or Soroki's.com. Welcome back, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Anson Wells in for us today. It's starting the second hour of the show. How you feeling today, Anson?
Today's been spectacular.
Spectacular day, man.
Driving here in this weather and then getting to interview Brady
He's a
Quinn,
good dude, right?
Another legend, and another legend. It's a legendary Friday.
Brady's a good dude. It's funny too. Like when I first, Brady got drafted. I want to say he got drafted 22nd. He was 22nd in 07. And I didn't know how I was going to, he's a Notre Dame guy, I'm a Michigan guy. And as soon as you met Brady's a good dude, man. We instantly bonded. He's actually the only other player that stayed in Avon Lake whereas where I stayed. So we became friends in that regard too.
Looks and sounds like a quarterback, no?
Yeah, and when he talks, it's like he's reading defenses.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
he's reading defenses
like
all the time. Tom Mazaway.
Yes, sir.
More Lion sound, man.
We
And
do.
also, you keep bringing up this guy Hendon Hooker, man.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker finally had something to say. It seems like
He did. They caught up with him at training camp. It's funny that Anson wrote me last night. He's like, hey, I want to talk about Hendon Hooker. And I wrote him. I'm like, hey, he spoke at camp today. And he looks like he's a kid that's got a lot more confidence. And ESPN's Eric Woodward caught up with him. Here's what it sounded like.
Jumping in and really taking real reps, navigating through the offense, through audibles and checks. It's a new perspective, but I'm enjoying the process.
What's been the toughest thing so far that you had to run into, man? Like, I know it's still early, but
just turn my brain off when I'm playing. Just going out there thinking too much, trying to make too many checks, too many corrections, and just calling and balling. I think that's the biggest thing from this spring so far.
Anybody on the coaching staff or teammates helping you at all throughout this process?
Yeah, everyone. It's a collective effort. From the vets, from JG and Nate Sudd, to JT and Coach Brew and Ben as well. They've done a great job of trying to groom me in the positive direction.
You know the interesting thing about that is, soon as you hear him speak, because he's only in year 2.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hear him speak, Anson, you instantly remember, oh, wait, this guy's 27 years old. Wait, this guy is an older individual because he's very smart, he's very polished, but he knows the right things and he does the right things. He seems like a guy that's ready to lead a team. It just ain't going to be this one this year.
No, it's not going to be this year. And he's really the perfect type of human being to be sitting in this role, happy to be in that role, waiting in the wings. So many people make such a huge deal out of their age, incoming guys like that. But he's not coming in here to be the savior of this franchise for 10 years. He's coming to be a polished backup and maybe take over the reins one day. He's saying and doing all the right things so far.
Yeah, 100%. There's somebody else that had something to say about him, and that would be his head coach, Tom, as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to see what happens with Hendon Hooker. But a guy that we're all looking for, and he's one of our favorites, is Aiden Hutchinson. Here's the first thing. Aiden Hutchinson, you expect big things coming out of him this year. Dan Campbell says, I expect big things out of Aiden, but I'm not sure I'm worried about sacks. Just get those pressures.
Yeah, Hutch is going to continue to improve. And whether those come in sacks or not, I already know he's going to be better. You know what I mean? That's just the way he is, the way he works. It's like Saint. I mean, you're going to be able to count on the production he's going to bring.
It's where we wanted to be, and it took a couple of years for sure, but I think we're in a great spot right now, and we got everything ahead of us, and I think confidence is at an all-time high, and just knowing, I feel like last year was a lot of, people doubted us a lot, just because of the history, the same old Lions, this and that, but I feel like this year we have more of a knowing in ourselves and what we can do and how we can compete against the best teams. And, I really think a lot of those narratives have flipped in the past couple of years, or this year, I think. And I think it changes confidence too. Yeah, I definitely feel like I've reached a new level this year in pass rush, and just body comp in general. I feel like that's what happens when you just stack years in professional sports. Your body comp gets better, you get more flexible, you get more bend, you get more, it's just everything that you want. And as long as you're, treating your body, mind, and soul right every year, it only compounds.
Yeah, the thing about it is, look, Aiden Hutchinson has been synonymous with winning. He wanted Divine Child, he wanted the University of Michigan, and now he's winning with the Detroit Lions. And it's going to be fun to watch. But when you got guys that buy in, when you got guys that consistently put in the work, one of the biggest things in Tom Brady's career with the New England Patriots was Bill Belichick's ableness to be able to berate him. Now, obviously, Dan Campbell, and they're not berating him, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, but being able to talk to your guy, the guy that you think is the best player, the guy that you think is the leader of the defense, be able to talk to him in a certain way, to be able to expect him to be there, to lead these guys all the time. I think that's how you have success. When your number one guys are there, when your number one guys aren't just like, hey, you know what? I was all rookie team. Hey, you know what? I made the Pro Bowl year 2. No, they're asking for more. They're wanting more because they can be more. I think he can definitely have a big year this year. DJ Reader is going to be a big reason why, though.
And they didn't draft this kid on accident. They didn't bring in Reader on accident. These guys are building the culture up from the floor up. And you just keep seeing, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to it again. You see men happy in their roles here in Detroit.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff happy with how they're handling those roles. Nobody's bigger than this team. There's no prima donna. There's nobody crying for touches. It's an anomaly, to be quite honest with you. And they not only are they setting trends in free agency, but they're setting trends in terms of culture.
Hey, Maz, getting back to Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson is a guy, look, he broke Michigan's single-season record, 15.5 sacks, that was held by his father, breaks his father's record. He's a record-breaking type guy. What is the limit, or not limit, wrong word, what is the ceiling on sacks you think this year?
Oh, man.
Because it seems like, he did have the pressures, couldn't necessarily get the sacks. He's not in the
What did he get last year?
11.5.
Did he?
What did he get last year? Was it 11.5 or?
Did he get that many?
Or
he got double digits.
Yeah.
It's like 11.5.
Why not 15 or more? Why not?
I think this is the year for that. Absolutely.
And that's where I'm at, Maz. This is the question coming down the pipeline. If he
11.5.
Yeah, so I was right.
Good
11.5. If he doesn't have 15.5 sacks or more, what say you about Aiden Hutchinson after this season?
As long as and other guys are getting to the
Team
quarterbacks,
sacks.
Okay.
I have no problem with it because this kid, he's only going to get better. He's not going backwards. We still haven't talked about Trayvon Walker, who was picked ahead of him.
And he's not limited to just quarterback pressures. He does so many different things on the field.
He's got interceptions. He's got touchdowns. He's got fumble recoveries. He's a ball player, man.
Yeah, he
and
is.
you heard him. His body is better. He's getting better. He's just improving. You're getting a guy that's really hungry. And look how close they got in only his second year, almost getting to the Super Bowl. That bodes well for this team and these young kids.
It bodes well for him, and he's definitely hungry. I just ask these questions because, look, we're at a love fest with the Detroit Lions. We say nothing negative about the Detroit Lions on a day-in, day-out basis. But one of the things that has come up over the 2 years is him disappearing in games, him going games without having sacks. And you can blame it on not having an inside presence, a defensive tackle in the middle, whether it was Isaiah Buggs out or Aleem McNeil trying to figure it out, or Benito Jones, if you will. This has got to be the year, right? I think this is the year for the step. This is the year where his preparation, his on-field, his getting better, it meets the expectations. I think the expectations, the offseason that they've had with the defensive line, this is a year where you want to see 15 sacks. And I don't care. I understand that, hey, it's sacked by committee, and if I need to see Aiden Hutchinson with 15 sacks.
Well, and year 3 is typically when we're looking for these top 10 defensive end and edge rushers to really take that jump. They flirt with 8, 9, 10 sacks. And again, this guy didn't have any help. We talked so many times how he was just that split second away from finishing plays. Again, I don't care if he doesn't get to 15 or not, because I know that even if he sits at 12 at the end of this season, everybody up and down that line is going to have more production. Opposing quarterbacks are going to have less time, and scores against the Lions will be smaller.
TJ Watt, most notably, year 2, he went for year 7, year 1, goes to 13, 14.5, 15, and 22.5. So year 3, he did have
He's something.
14 and a half sacks. Let's see what his brother did. Let's see big JJ Watt. Let's see what he did. Well, his is unfair to compare to. Year 2, he had 20.5 sacks.
Oh, I think year 2, he also had 3 touchdowns receiving as well.
Yeah, he was Defensive Player of the Year, year 2. He was Defensive Player of the Year.
Let's not compare him to the Watt brothers. I want to. I do. First round pick, second overall.
There's this different
but
set
I don't
of
think
brothers.
he's not a Watt brother.
Let's
He's
compare
not.
him to the Bosa's instead.
Trey Hendrickson.
Bosa's?
Let's compare him to the Bosa's, because I think that's the archetype that we're looking for him to fulfill.
Well, Joey had 11.5 his rookie year. Like Joey had 11.5 his rookie year. Nick had 8. I think Joey had 12 in year 2, and I think Nick went to 12, and I think Nick had 18.
And that's
year
what we're
3.
looking at with this kid. So 11.5 is 12 sacks, basically.
Okay.
On a team without anybody else on that defensive line. So many plays, so darn close. You watch this kid take a huge step.
Especially what you said, Bray. Reader's in the middle now.
Yeah.
This is different. He's never had a DJ
Nothing
Reader
like
in the
that.
middle.
No, not at all. Not at
Never.
all. Not at all. Not since his days at University
So
of Michigan.
let's stand pat, and I'm excited to see what his next steps are.
Yeah.
Another guy that we love. Please stay healthy. And we got blessed last year against Minnesota when Sam Laporta went down with that knee injury. Remember, we were all holding our breath.
Warrior.
Last game of the season, we're like, oh, my God, we're going to lose him for the playoffs. Brock Wright's already out. What are we going to do? Well, Sam Laporta's like, hey, man, I got a lot of guys on this team to lean on.
More, I wouldn't say it's comfortable because I know what it takes to compete and really thrive at this level, but I've been there, I've done it, I know what it takes, and we got guys around the building that I can really lean on that have had success in the past. You know, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, hey, how'd you bounce back after a great year after year after year? Jared, Sewell, Deck, you know, Frank, go down the list. I have a lot of resources in the organization that I can ask those type of questions to.
What was the focus for you this offseason? You had so much success as a rookie, but I know you guys always have the mindset you can get better. Was there one thing in particular, or was it anything that was the focus this offseason?
Get my body right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hit that reset button, kind of chilled out a couple of weeks. I was rehabbing quite a few injuries from this past season, so just trying to get my body right again.
Gotta love Sam Laporta.
I love him.
You gotta love Sam Laporta. He not only does the right thing on the football field, it says the right thing off the football field. He's just a player, you know. And you're talking about a guy that came in year one. You're talking about still some big names out here in the tight end position, and he had a better year than all of them. That's not arguable. That's not up for debate. That's not up for no. Sam
Maybe
Laporta,
the best rookie tight end year ever.
And you heard the description when they started talking about Sam Laporta in the top 25 players under 25 or the top 21 under 25. They said maybe the best season out of a tight end in a decade.
Wow.
As far as a decade. So he's a guy that gets it. I mean, Jared Goff is very blessed with the weapons that he will have this year and that he had last year.
Hey, the only thing that's going to stop the Lions and knock wood, I don't even want to put it in the.
Then don't.
Okay, I won't say it then.
I know it was coming. Injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you know what? They signed a guy in Brock Wright that they really liked. I mean, San Francisco gave Brock Wright
More money.
a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
So we're all like, well, he's gone. No, the Lions match it. The Lions match it. They love their own players.
It's also loyalty, too. Like, you look in the situation, like the team that beat you is trying to get a player from you. That lets you know what that player is. That lets you know what San Fran saw in Brock Wright and things that he were able to do. And the fact that he stayed. The fact that he stayed, you know what that tells me, Anson? There's unfinished business by everybody that's on that team.
And San Fran's got Kittle. Yeah. It's not like they don't have a tight end.
None of it has anything to do with our head coach being a former tight end. I promise you that.
Yeah, sure.
One thing I got to say about Laporta, seeing that interview, when I watched this super class of rookies come in last year, he was the one guy that came in a little arrogant, I felt.
Laporta?
Yeah, a little bit. And
he's quiet.
No,
how'd you get arrogant?
Not in the
quiet?
stuff that I saw him in the offseason last year. And and it wasn't egregious by any means. In fact, you want to see that kind of confidence in a guy coming in. But it wasn't completely consistent with, like, when you see Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a quiet guy, and you know, Jack Campbell kind of seemed a little overwhelmed with everything. But what I've seen out of Laporta is a guy who should be just even more full of himself actually took it down a notch. Yeah. And I think that he has really fit in with this culture ad nauseum. We've talked about it so many times today, but I've seen a maturation out of him that it's just remarkable. A guy that young and in his second year could not only mature so much as a person, but also so much as a player on the field. What an absolute season Laporta last year. I mean, when you look at Travis Kelce, Pfizer, Swift, and all the distraction that guy's playing with right now, this is the best tight end in the NFL, Laporta.
Sam Laporta definitely has a chance to make you right this season, because if
does.
If he follows up what he did in his rookie campaign, boy, the sky's the limit for that guy. Tom Maswell, what do you think if we took a little break?
Let's do it.
Take a little break and maybe get to some hoops. I'm still not done with the basketball, man, because I think somebody put out a mock draft. Ooh, can't forget the draft is coming up.
It's almost that time.
It's almost that time. But first, it's time to tell you about Guardian Alarm.
What happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys and James the intern one thing.
Stay out, James.
It's a new year. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. And that technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sport. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Ermanni Edwards with Maz. Anson Wells joining us today. Just coming off the heels of a good interview with my man Brady Quinn in the first hour. How'd that interview go? I liked it, man.
I had a blast. I really wanted.
See, you had to you refrained. I saw you jumping at the bit to ask some questions.
I just wanted to know how badly he wanted out of Cleveland as well as you. I really needed to know that.
Yeah, it was we made it out. We made it on to the other side, as they say. Brady came on 2:15. Before that, we were talking about the Timberwolves and Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic wins the Magic Johnson Western Conference Finals trophy as they now make it to the first Luka Doncic-led team. The Dallas Mavericks is going to the finals, the 3rd overall. It's going to be exciting, man.
Well, you just pointed out we got this little TV over here.
I saw it. I wanted you to see that. How crazy was that?
He leads everyone in everything except for blocks. Field goal percentage, free throw percentage. Well, the free throw was off because I know that he missed one the other night and they had him at 100%. This guy has the most threes, most steals, most assists, most free rebounds, most points out of everybody in the playoffs right now. Luka has arrived.
Man, yeah, they talk so much about Luka Doncic being a whiner, Luka Doncic not being able to get it all done with this guy. He's not a guy that
he
can
shut everybody up.
He shut everybody up, man.
He did it all, man. He really came out, and like you said, that first quarter, 20 points, he put them to sleep right then and there. And Minnesota, at home, couldn't even muster up a fight. They were down 30-some-odd points at one point, almost 40 points. That's unheard of. At home, you're a playoff team, one of the better records in the league, and you fall flat on your face like that. No excuse for that. And I got to take offense on their coach a little bit. How do you let your team come in that flat for that game? Now, do you blame the coach or is it all on the players? Because to me, I don't think Pat Riley would ever let that happen.
I think that
I'll let you go first. Go ahead, Aaron.
Honestly, they played above their head. I don't think that they should have gotten past Denver. This is a 5, maybe 6-man true roster. Sure, they play other guys, but they're not doing much aside from putting in some team defense. He pulled every ounce out of that team in order to get where they got, and you saw it. At the end of that series, they got their best guy hooked up to a breathing machine, so they need another guy. They need some depth, and they need to age. It's a really young team.
Yeah, the good thing about it, too, you look at the flip side, you look at Luka Doncic, you look at those Mavericks, Kyrie was the guy that we said, hey, look, experience. Experience is something that you can pull on in these moments. And it seems like Luka's been able to pull from Kyrie's experience, and it seems like Kyrie's been dialing in to those Cleveland Cavalier runs, to even the All-Celtics runs where they got to the Eastern Conference Finals a time or two. Really came through with that experience. And it looks like Luka now has become the guy. Kyrie having that experience, though, is so invaluable for the Dallas Mavericks team. Oh, don't forget, the head coach also has won a championship, also has played at that level, and now he's coaching at the same level, man.
Yeah, and Joe Mazzulla in his first finals, right? Or is it his second finals?
It's his first.
It's his first.
It's his first.
The youngest coach to get there since Bill Russell. So he's pulled the right strings. And Mickey, what was their first coach that let go?
Ime Udoka.
Yeah, Ime Udoka. Still trying to get back there.
Bring that man to Detroit.
So, well, somebody, right? Somebody, anybody. Yeah. Speaking of Detroit, picking 5th again in the NBA draft.
We're awfully comfortable there, huh?
5th again. Would you be more excited if they at least had the top 3 pick?
Nope, not this year.
Still?
Not this year. Not at all. Maybe number 1, Zachary Risseker. I'm a decent fan of him. I'm not a fan of Alexander Sarr, who's sitting at, those two guys are both from France, sitting on top of pretty much everybody's boards right now. I'm not sure where ESPN has a mock because I don't pay for Insider. But what I am seeing is a lot of Matas Buzelis, who's a G League Ignite guy who can't shoot the 3. Shot 24% from 3 last year. That doesn't work in the NBA or on a Pistons team who is desperate for 3-point shooters. I'm going back where I was 4 months ago, going with the same guy. He's coming in under the radar the same way his older brother did in 2022, and that is the Colorado Buffaloes' Cody Williams, younger brother of Jalen Williams. This is a guy who's 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan, shot over 41% from 3, shot 55% from the field, and he really wasn't entirely in their rotation. If you watch those guys, they won their play-in game, got into the NCAA tournament, and they got out of the first round as well, but he didn't put up big games. Now, Santa Clara is where his brother Jalen Williams came, but this is a top 3 or 4 player from that draft in Jalen Williams. He is one of the major reasons why you have seen SGA and the Thunder get to the level that they have. This is a guy that has developed each year that he's been in the league, only 2, but he's a two-way player. His brother is cut from the exact same cloth. He probably could even still grow an inch. That's who I want the Pistons to take. He's sneaky. He's hiding there. He's going to go between 4 and 7. And I sure hope that who is ever pulling the draft strings, which should be the Alaskan assassin, that we get this Cody Williams here. And if we don't trade the pick, of course.
Do you see, by the way, do you see how many picks are there in the 2 rounds? 60?
56.
54, right?
50, yeah.
50 some odd?
60, 30 and 30.
Do you see who moved into the top 60 players, by the way?
LeBron James.
Yeah, Bronny James.
Bronny
at like 58.
Right after us.
People forget that is his real name.
So you'd take him at 54, wouldn't you? And just put LeBron to the brass tacks. Are you going to be a man of your word? We're not far from Akron.
Yeah.
Well, before we get to Bronny James at 54, there are 53 other players in front of him. ESPN came out today with their 2024 mock NBA draft. So let's take a look at the list. You are the basketball professional over there in terms of knowing these guys, knowing where they're from. We'll go through the top 5. You tell me what you think. Number 1, Atlanta Hawks. How did Hawks get the number 1 pick? Don't get me started.
Longest shot on the board.
Atlanta Hawks, longest shot on the board.
It's like Rich Strike winning the Derby.
Trae Young.
They want Trae Young to stay down there. Atlanta's a huge basketball
he's
market.
Gone, and this softens blow. I think the NBA, they know what they're doing when the ping pong balls land.
100%. Alex Sarr, power forward, center out of Perth, Australia, 19 years old. And then we go to number 2, Washington Wizards. Take Zachary Risseker, small forward out of Bourg, France. So this is one of the Frenchmen gone. There's supposed to be 2. And then 3rd, the Houston Rockets, they seem to stay 2-3. They seem to be there 2-3 all the time. Reed Shepard, point guard. There he is. There's an English-born guy we know.
48% from three this last year.
And that's why he's probably on this list, Kentucky guard, because at first, most people don't even know who this guy is, and he played for a college that was in America. You look at the first three. What jumps out at you? Nothing
At all.
That's crazy.
These are guys that would be in the late single digits in a lot of drafts. There's massive holes in Rissaker's game. There's massive holes in Sarr's game. Neither one of them comes with any type of physicality from overseas. Obviously, that's the MO of European players, but when you don't get confused, just because there's two big men coming from France again a year after Wembanyama came out, these guys are not anywhere near the same league.
One pick in front of the Detroit Pistons is the San Antonio Spurs. They draft Rob Dillingham, point guard out of Kentucky. So now you see two Kentucky Wildcats gone, just like their head coach in John Calipari. And number 5, the Detroit Pistons select Modest Bazelis, small forward, power forward, G League Ignite, as you just said. You want me to read the write-up, Maz?
Of course.
About what this guy could
I'd like
be?
to know who he is.
And so do I. It's difficult to peg whom the Pistons might take before knowing who might be making that decision. The Detroit, as we were talking about, is it going to be Trajan Langdon? Is it going to be Troy Weaver? Who's actually pulling the strings in that decision? As Detroit is currently searching for a new president of basketball operations, now they already have one. With the existing players in place, including somewhat of a long shot, Bazelis has terrific size, 6'10", and explosive athletic ability, and he has shown promising signs of perimeter shooting and rim protection prowess over the past few years. The fact that he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be successful, but has significant upside to grow into and with his developing frame could be attractive with this pick. ESPN Insider.
I hope they trade it. Honestly, just trade the damn pick.
Trade it and do what? Oh, trade for a player.
Trade a pick and a player. Trade a pick and a player and bring a guy in here. Bring a veteran in here. Whatever you got to do to make the team better. That kid's not going to make the team better. He's not. He's just going to be another guy. He'll be another guy off the bench scoring 2 points.
That 6'10" perimeter, say he also has potential, perimeter skill right there. Potential. It's a dangerous word because it means nothing.
Yeah. Zach Edey's got potential too.
Bronny James has potential.
Hey, there's someone on the chat. Let me see who it is. It's let's see. The guy up north says, "Have you guys looked into Dalton Neck from Tennessee?
Player.
What are your thoughts?"
Great player. Another guy that shouldn't be anywhere near the top 5 in any draft. He's a man. He's a guy that's going to be pretty NBA ready.
I watched him here at Little Caesars Arena. Tennessee came and they played hard.
He really is a player. And this is a guy who's going to have an absolute place in the NBA. But when you're looking at a top 5 and you're looking at a guy like him, you got to trade that pick, period. Or you trade down or trade this in the next 2 or 3. How many more top 5 guys can you have on one roster? You know, I mean, all these kids, they're kids. We've got to get somebody that can lead these kids on the floor.
You asked about Dalton Neck. They have him projected 9th to the Memphis Grizzlies, and the write-up on him. At 23 years old and coming off an All-American season, Net looks to be an attractive option with that in mind. He's one of the best shooters in this class, but can he put the ball in the basket in a variety of ways and has the frame and length to play either a wing position? Kind of reminds me of the write-up of J.J. Redick. Now, J.J. Redick probably wasn't the same size, but
a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
he's
a little bit bigger
than J.J.
So he's not far from not 5.
Yeah.
They're picking him at 9.
Yeah, no, and that's...
So what are you going to do, trade down to 9?
No, I'm just
if you
saying,
like him?
if you're sitting at 5, I mean, I wouldn't mind having that kid on our team. Don't get me wrong. But the asset and the capital of the 5th pick, what you're realizing, a player like Neck, they don't vibe for me. So that's a guy that you've got to get rid of that pick. I'm telling you, though, if you get a chance to watch this, Cody Williams, his ceiling is better than anybody in this draft, in my opinion. That's a guy that's cerebral. He's been growing up watching and learning how to beat his brother, but he does everything right. He's a multifaceted two-way player that can score at all 3 levels. That's what the Pistons need right now. Otherwise, trade that pick, please.
Yeah, I was looking for that.
Please trade that pick.
It just doesn't matter. I mean, this is a draft in which you don't have a 1 pick, you don't have a 2 pick, you don't have a 3 pick. You know, I'm talking about the guys that are actually going this year. These guys are number 1 players. These guys aren't 2 players. What does it even matter? And I think that's why Ryan Ermanni came with the whole, what seemed like foolishness at the time, drafting Bronny James at 5. It seemed like foolishness, but when you look at this draft, there's going to be 30 teams. There's going to be 4 NBA teams that hit on players.
There's no 40-year-old LeBron in these 60 guys right here. I will tell you that. So you get a 40-year-old LeBron and a 22-year-old or 20-year-old Bronny, but everybody's just ready to completely say this kid's not going to be any good. He had a heart attack and he missed the entire offseason.
Yeah.
All of pre-training, all of conditioning.
God, I want to move up and draft him.
What's that?
I said, boy, I want to move up and draft him.
Hey, if this kid stayed for a year, there'd be a whole different narrative around him. He's a total tweener, but I think that he's a much better shooter than people are giving him credit for. His second day of his workouts, he actually couldn't miss.
He's got no chance to be successful.
You don't
in the
think?
NBA. No. How is he going to live up to even being to his father's needs? How is he going to live up?
Well, he's already lived down. Nobody thinks that he should be there.
Right.
So anything that he does at the NBA level will be a pleasant surprise. But I'm going to tell you, this is one of the most cerebral kids coming out of this draft.
Well, yeah, he's got a good
athletic,
teacher.
and he really didn't get a chance to understand what the college game, because he got inserted halfway through the season with very little conditioning, and a whole lot of drama surrounding him. This is a kid that if he stayed another year, nobody would be upset about him going at the end of the first round. If LeBron is attached. Let me put that caveat in.
He's had a good teacher, but that's it, man, as far as that goes.
It's all about
We're
Bryce.
not talking about him.
It's all about Bryce.
If his name's not James.
Bryce
We're not
James,
talking about
Bryce
him.
James is going to be a player, though. That kid, you watch Bryce, he's going to be a player in the NBA.
I saw the baseline dunk that he had a couple days ago in the high school game. Pay attention a little
Still
bit.
growing.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to swap you over to football.
Let's do it. I'm
Little
ready.
NFL last night. As soon as we shut our mics off, the Chicago Bears got the call from HBO. The Chicago Bears are going to be on Hard Knocks. And I said it last week. I said, my daughter's going to work for the Bears this summer, and they're going to be on Hard Knocks. And what do you know? They're following Caleb Williams and the new look Chicago Bears.
Shocker.
Per Ari Mayroff, friend of this show and my 33rd team, the 33rd team, My Sports Update is his handle. The Bears have been selected, like Matt said, to be the team for HBO's Hard Knock per Adam Schefter. It's the only way to go. You got Caleb Williams, all the moves you made in the offseason. This is a story team. You talk about the franchise. You talk about where they are.
Yesterday was Gale Sayers' birthday.
It can be
throw that out there.
Somebody else's birthday.
Kansas Comet.
Somebody's birthday is today. I'll figure it out on the break. Somebody important. You will like it. But I think this is a team you want to see. You want to see what Caleb Williams can be. There's always been some controversy in the locker room. Jalen Johnson, DB from the Chicago Bears, told him don't come here with the dresses and the fingernail paint if they draft him. Well, guess what? They drafted him first overall. So this could be an interesting storyline. It may keep me a little bit intrigued for 2 episodes. So Matt, and they're in our division.
Exactly. Now just go take this, because mid-season HBO is going to do another Hard Knocks. They're going to do the entire division. They haven't picked the division yet. I'll predict they're going to pick the AFC South, like we've been talking. The AFC North, like we've been talking about, the best division in football. And they're going to hit each team. So this one is on the Bears. So they're not going to talk about the NFC North. Just a couple years ago, they were here in Allen Park. And really, it was when the Lions became America's darling, right? And then they start winning. And here they are now. This Chicago Bears team, I had them. They have a shot at making the playoffs if a couple things go right for them. They are right there. I don't think they have a Dan Campbell running their team. They got Matt Eberflus. I don't know about him yet. He survived, so he's got him this far. But you got a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams, and you're putting everything on him. They already said he is starting day one.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I believed in Caleb Williams more than you and Ryan. Ermanni Ryan doesn't believe in him at all. I think he's a
I'm leaning towards you.
Okay, look,
yeah,
he's going to be in a system. Caleb Williams will have the best skill set for him day one as a number 1 overall draft pick. No number 1 overall quarterback has ever had the weapons that he's going to have. He has DJ Moore. He has Keenan Allen. He has DeAndre Swift. He has Cole Kmet. He has all these guys, and he's coming into his rookie season, and they also provide him with some offensive linemen. So it's going to be one of those situations, Maz, where there won't be a lot of room for him to point other fingers if he can't come in and get it done year one, because he's got the right amount of talent. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll hear about Wake Up Woodward from my man P. Spivak, and then Maz and I will come back and finish the show. My man, Intern James at the helm.
Head to Woodward Sports every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. mornings, and you can watch Wake Up Woodward with Matt Broder, Sam Flannel, Kool-Aid, JB, and Kenny G. Again, every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. mornings right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, and that would be Woodward Sports. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men, and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Back. Ermanni Edwards and Maz Anson Wells still with us. We appreciate you. Silent Mike in the booth. How you been, Silent Mike? What's going on?
Been all right.
Been all right? Been good?
Yeah.
He's silent.
It's Friday, man. What you got planned for this week, man? It's a beautiful weekend. It's going to be nice. It's going to be chill. What's the vibe this weekend?
I got a few audio events I got to work.
Okay. Some work.
Yep.
Work never seems to stop, man. What
You know what I'm doing? I'm getting ready for a garage sale.
Oh, yeah?
Next weekend, I'm having a garage sale.
You sell any of those sports cards?
I'm not going to sell my sports cards, but I'm selling a lot of stuff. Everything must go. I am like, my house is busting at the seams.
The SCS?
Have you ever done a garage sale? Braylon, I guarantee you have not done a garage sale. I guarantee that.
I was a part of one as a kid.
You were?
I was a part of one as a kid.
I did one when I first moved to Detroit in '93, and I lived in Detroit. I was on off of Cadju and Mac.
Okay.
And
East side.
Yep, and I had a garage sale, and my fiance at the time, Kathy, who's my wife, she had her Dodge Shadow parked in the neighbor's driveway, right next to the house. So we're selling all this stuff in the garage, and I decided, let me stick a for sale sign on her car. So I stick a for sale sign on her car. Oh. Someone comes and says, "Hey, you selling that car?" I'm like, "Yeah, make me an offer." And he hit us right where we wanted to be, and I wound up selling a car at a garage sale.
Oh, wow.
I told you, and when everything, and when she killed me, she sold my favorite chair. My favorite chair. She's like, "That's gotta go. That's gotta go." We had a big fight over that, but
she sold your favorite chair?
She sold my favorite chair.
So you helped her.
It wasn't even in the garage. It was in the house. She took someone in to look at it.
She did. That was sneaky move.
Sneaky move.
So you helped her out, and then she played.
Ain't that something?
Married.
But we're getting ready for it next weekend in St. Clair Shores, next Friday, Saturday. So, I can't do it, man. I just can't hold this stuff anymore.
Okay.
Every time I look at it, I'm like, if I'm not here, who's going to use this? It's just going to sit here. So I don't want to.
Time has come,
even though
right?
it kills me.
Yeah.
It kills me because I'm not a hoarder, but I like to keep some of my stuff.
Well, you know what? Let's not hoard these NFL topics. Tom Mazaway, take us around the NFL, sir.
All right, here's something for you guys. This happened a few days ago. Former Lion, Isaiah Buggs. Remember we cut him last year. He got a little trouble with Dan Campbell and the guys. He didn't show up for the workouts, and he never really recovered from that. They let him go. Kansas City signs him to the practice squad. Well, he is facing 2 misdemeanor warrants in Tuscaloosa for second-degree cruelty to dogs. He has turned himself in and will face the judge. But he left a couple of dogs behind without water or food and locked outside in the sun. And that's bad.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly what's going on with that story, but just looking at it in its totality, you think about last season when it seemed like there were things going on with Isaiah Buggs and the team, and then the team benches him. He doesn't even dress. You're talking about a guy that when he was in there was playing extremely well, or at least the middle of the defensive line was. And then he came out with the comments last year. He said, you know what? Just wait. Truth always comes out, and it's crazy how people can switch up on you and change up on you.
Oh, yeah.
This team seems to know the pulse of players.
They do.
They seem to know.
They sniff it out
right beforehand.
Like, even if they bring you on, they still don't stop vetting the process. They don't checking into their players. And, you know, I hope everything's well for him, and I hope this is a misunderstanding, whatever, but it doesn't seem like it is. And it seems like the Lions knew that he was another one of those guys that they may have to move, and they did.
You know, and I got a buddy he's a real insider with the Lions. He's got a lot of great knowledge. But last year, his biggest concern was, why are all these guys leaving the team? And realistically, I'm going to go back to it. These are guys that weren't happy in their roles. And it's a little more than just them leaving. I think that this Lions organization shows you the door, and they ask you to try not to let it hit you on your way out. But they're padding pretty much 100 or 1,000 at this point with guys that they're, hey, take a break. And then the next thing you know, these guys are falling on their face personally, doing something boneheaded. And the Lions, in hindsight, just keep looking smarter and smarter.
Yeah,
Amazing.
they do. Yeah, they do.
And he didn't play for the Chiefs. He was on the practice squad. So I don't know if they keep him, what goes on with him moving forward. But obviously he made a bad decision on that. Here's something for you guys. Quinn Williams is one of your favorites.
100%. Okay. Alabama Crimson Tide.
So he gets up yesterday at Jets after Jets practice, and someone's talking to him, and they mentioned, hey, Aaron Rodgers entering his 20th season. Here's Quinn Williams.
This is going to be Aaron's 20th year. Could you just speak?
20 years?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Aaron, 20 years in the NFL?
Yeah. Could you just...
Man. Ain't that running back, the number 0 is 20 years old?
Yeah.
So he been in the NFL as long as he been alive. That's crazy, huh? I got to joke with him about that.
Something. He had no idea that Aaron Rodgers was entering his 20th season.
Yeah, because, Quinn Williams, this is only, year 4 for him, year 5? He's been in the league 5 years, so he's around 27 or so, maybe 26. A hell of a player. He's top 3, maybe, if he didn't get injured.
And he was awesome on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, 100% he is, man. The big baby smile. But when you think about it, you don't think about it in years, you just think about it in names. You hear names, you hear Kirk Cousins, and you hear Matt Stafford, and you hear Aaron Rodgers. But when you sit down and hear 20 years and you look at yourself, it's like 20 years. Shoot, I'm thinking 20 years. That's the year I got drafted.
Yep.
Shouts out to Aaron, man.
He was talking about number 0, Braylon Allen, correct?
Hey, man.
Youngest player in the NFL. What do you think of him? Because I think he's going to be special.
I think he stole my name. First Braylon in the history of the NFL. Don't you ever forget it. I think he's going to be a player, though. Like any guy named Braylon, man, I'm cheering for him.
What do you like about him?
Already running ahead of Izzy Abanikanda.
What about Abanikanda?
What he did at Wisconsin, he's electric. The guy's quick, he's got hands, and he's in a situation with Breece Hall, who everybody's ready to draft in the top 5 of their fantasy drafts. Guy's already missed with an ACL. He's an injury-prone back, and this Braylon Allen kid is primed and positioned to have a hell of a second half if he ascends to that starting running back. But it looks like he's already running as the 2.
Well, here we go, man. That's the Jets for you, right? 7 standalone games. They better
Yeah.
They better. These players that they drafted better show up, and Aaron Rodgers better stand up and hang in there for the entire season. I want to get back to Pro Football Focus, and this is a big one. I know Anson is all over this one.
Isn't it crazy how Pro Football Focus has become the outlet?
That's Chris Collinsworth's deal.
100%. It's become the outlet that we look for. Like, who
Yep.
said it? It's
They know their
PFF?
stuff.
Okay.
They know their stuff.
They're dialed
So
in.
Pro Football Focus put out the best off-season grades for this past season. And guess who's on top?
The Detroit Lions.
Read them up, baby.
Here we go. As you said, here are the teams' best off-season so far. The Detroit Lions come in at number 1 with an A+.
How about that?
A+, ladies and gentlemen. Only one A+ given, and it was given to the Detroit Lions. But just behind them is the Chicago Bears coming in at A. The Bengals with an A. Chiefs, Eagles, Bucks, Washington Commanders all finished with A's. Jim Harbaugh in his first year, Los Angeles Chargers coming in at A-, and so do Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, and the Los Angeles Rams. The Lions have to play, 5 teams off that list?
Ain't that something?
5 teams off that list, but this is what we've been talking about. Here we are, the Detroit Lions, another list, another top 3 performance, another top 3 finish, excuse me. It's just what the Lions are now. They are one of the best teams in the league, and they have some of the best players in the league.
That
It just is what it is, man.
That takes me to the hardest schedules and the easiest schedules, and that's at the bottom of the sheet, James. You're doing a great job, by the way. The NFL's hardest and easiest schedules.
Surprise, man. That was going to be a surprise.
You had a surprise?
I was going to tell everybody that James finished the show.
Oh,
See
well,
if-
James is
but it's all
dominating.
good. He's dominating.
He's dominating. So, James, let's pop that up if you could find it. The NFL hardest and easiest schedule. There you go, Bray. And Anson.
The 5 hardest schedules in the NFL per the 33rd team. Shout out to Ari Mayroff, number 1, the Buffalo Bills. And they still think the Buffalo Bills are going to make the playoffs.
Well, they have the hardest schedule, they say.
And they're not a good team as well. Number 2, New England Patriots. 3, Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson probably will start game 1. The Detroit Lions come in at number 4. And then C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State standout, and the Texans coming in at number 5.
Hardest division in football. I mean,
Why do the Patriots have a hard schedule?
Because
they finished last. They should have an easy schedule.
They're not good.
I know, but don't the bad teams get the easy schedules?
Supposed to.
I don't know how the algorithm is set up, but I just know they're not really a good team.
Put up the next slide there, James. The easiest schedules. And here they are. None other than the Chargers, the Bengals, and the Atlanta Falcons.
And it's funny because 2 of the 3 had a grade for the offseason in terms of the work they did so far. Yeah.
You know, one of the things I want to rewind back to is the offseason and getting an A+ from Pro Football Focus. The Lions did that without the major splash signing. Like DJ Reader, obviously, he's top 3, top 5 defensive tackle in the league, but all last season, the trade deadline, everybody wanted us to get Chase Young and these other guys, Sweat. The Lions at no point have made a major signing. They have only extended guys on 4-year contracts. Otherwise, they have not handed out to an incoming free agent a 4 or 5-year deal. In the offseason, before the draft, a lot of people were questioning what these guys were doing. If you look at the body of picks in the draft, you could argue why they take him here, but Mahogany shouldn't have been left over in the 6th round like he was. Right. When you put the whole offseason puzzle together, who was lost? Jonah Jackson? Well, they replaced him with a few different options.
Zeitler.
Other than that, nothing is gone. Everything has been gained without bringing in a major personality or spending major cash. These guys have got their finger on it, man. To be able to be the only A+ team without having to give up a 4-year+ deal or to have to bring in somebody that might disrupt your locker room, these guys look like geniuses right now.
Yeah, you know, a lot goes into that grade. It's not necessarily just how you drafted. It's not necessarily the guys you brought in, but it's also the money you save. There's also the deals that you put in place. It's also the type of you got guys on 1-year contract. You got guys that got to fight to prove and deal type deals. So the way in which they went about the offseason, it was kind of magical, and I think that's why they got the A+ grade. It's not necessarily the draft. It's not necessarily the players, but it's the price point for the players. It's extending Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's extending Penei Sewell. It's giving Jared Goff that contract because now you're ahead of the curve. Now you're saving money in the long time. And now you, like Brady Quinn talked about, it's the distractions. Now you don't have the distractions. Now you don't have a Justin Jefferson that's upset. Now you don't have insert player that doesn't feel like he's been treated rightly by his franchise. The Lions they won in most ways.
Hey, Pro Football Focus had the Lions as number 1, A+ on offseason. But what do you think they had them on total roster, top 10? Before I put it up, what's your guess, Austin? Anson.
I think that 100% they're a top 4. They probably get disrespected, so I'm putting them at 4 or 5.
Okay, Bray, where's your guess? Pro Football Focus, best roster in the NFL. Where are they?
3.
Okay, put it up there, James.
6. Okay.
Number 6.
Lions come in at 6. The Bills come in at 10. Cowboys come in at 9. James, leave it up for me real quick.
You saw number 3.
Run through that list real quick. Bengals at 8.
4.
Texans at 7. Lions at 6. Ravens 5. Jets 4.
What?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
What?
The Jets 4.
Right. Look out.
All right now. Hey. All right now. And then obviously the Philadelphia Eagles, who I'm high on this year. I think that is the team in the NFC that the Lions need to worry about. Not the 49ers. It is the Eagles. Chiefs at 2. And then the 49ers at 1.
The Jets.
I think 6 is too low.
J-E-T-S.
Definitely top 5.
To me, they're top 3 to me.
But you know what this is? This is believing in big names more so than the collective effort. I think you're looking at the Lions, you're looking at their defense, you see Aiden Hutchinson, you see Carlton Davis. Outside of that, you're trying to figure out what that defense can be, who are going to be the players. Anzalone isn't a household name. Aleem McNeil's not a household name. Amik Roberts, he's not a household name. The rosters that you saw, they made major moves, and I think it's the household name thing that you saw. You look at the Jets, they picked up Mike Williams, they got this guy, that guy. So I think it's more a household name than actual truth on the field.
Manu has not turned into Mailata yet, all that kind of stuff.
True.
Hey, before we wrap up, got to do a quick round the league here. We got the NHL last night. The Rangers, I told you they were going to lose. They did. The Florida Panthers beat them, but not in overtime. 3-2. It was a 3-1 game. They scored about 40 seconds to go. So the Panthers are up 3-2, heading home to Florida.
This is exactly what I called yesterday.
Nice job.
I said Panthers win 3-2 in regulation.
And I had 2-1 in overtime. So you hit that one. Now tonight, we've got the Oilers at the Dallas Stars. That series tied at 2. We'll see how that one shakes out. That is tonight. No basketball, of course. We're going to wait on that. Tigers last night played one of their best games of the year, and they beat the Red Sox 5-0. Jack Flaherty had a no-hitter through 6 1/3, and then they just wore him down. They wind up getting a hit, but no runs. Struck out 9 again. He is a top 5 pitcher in Major League Baseball. Tigers' first shutout in Boston in 10 years. In 10 freaking years. They finally have a shutout at Fenway.
And with that performance and that win last night, that pulls the Tigers back to 500.
500, man. This is what we said they were going to play.
How?
This is 500 ball. This is what you need, man. You wanted to win 3 of these. Well, look, they've already won game 1. 6 games left in this stint. It's the Boston Red Sox.
And guess what? If you want to watch them tonight,
Houston, Texas, I believe.
If you have Apple, you can watch them because they're on Apple TV tonight at 7:10 at Fenway. Tigers and the Boston Red Sox. Kenta Maeda goes.
They have 3.5 actual MLB level bats in their lineup on their whole roster.
They're doing well.
It speaks so much to how dominant this pitching is from the starters to the bullpen.
You got it, man.
It's amazing.
Well said.
Yeah, this is.
They got 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Reese Olson, of course, Tarek Skubal on the top, and Jack Flaherty.
Yeah,
3 dogs.
I'll throw out something for you. And we gave away a guy last year that pitched a no-hitter.
Yep.
And now is the 3rd best pitcher in baseball per the stats.
How about that?
Can you imagine if he was on this team as well?
Would have been nice. Instead, he went to the Phillies.
Shout out to Chris Fetter.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Fetter, the pitching
Former
coach.
Michigan pitching coach, now here.
That's why I gave him a shout out,
Taking care
man.
of the
I
Tides.
know what school he went to.
Go Blue, baby.
Can we find a batting coach like our pitching coach?
Yeah, that'll be nice. We need
Jesus
some batters
Christ.
so the coach can coach him.
All right, Tom Mazaway. It's a hell of a week, man.
Nice job, fellas.
We had a hell of a week, Anson. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate
As
being here,
always.
man. Thanks for having me.
James on the 1s and 2s.
Nice going, James. Show yourself.
Crushed it.
We might have to drop the intern, man. Just call you James from now on. There he is.
Nice job. Kid plays for EMU. Go. Eagles. Go. You're on Eagles.
Fighting Eagles, man. Straight down Washington Avenue, man. Silent Mike always appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, he is silent.
You sure that guy doesn't play for the Mavericks?
Oh,
Eastern?
You call White Luca?
Show yourself again, Luca.
He's calling him
Look
Luca.
at this guy. Look at this guy.
Hey, don't pay
Look at
attention
Luca over there. I was waiting to the finals, baby.
Hey,
Let's
Western
go.
Conference Finals MVP. I'll take it.
Hey, look, see, the guy already knows how to play along with the joke.
Good
Look,
job, James.
It is all about you guys in the chat, you guys listening, watching at home. We appreciate you. This is why we do what we do. Ermanni Edwards with Maz on Woodward Sports Nation. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Oh, Grand Prix kicks off tonight. Go Detroit.
Go.